This show is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find the other great shows on the network, head over to the deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
So, after our Halloween hot list, I think went down really well. Loads of good comments. We're back with a podcast and we're so excited to talk about this. I have been buzzing to see this since we first watched Terrifier 1 because I was thinking that they have to do a sequel. Now, I will say I was a little bit sad that we didn't get to see it in the cinema, are you?
Yeah, like obviously it was a budget film, so it didn't get that big release that it did, but that's doing really well. Like, a lot of people are talking about this film.
I was a little bit jealous that it came out in America in some cinemas, but we got it on Apple TV, so that's okay.
I've done the job. It would have been nice to see in the cinema though, all the same.
Definitely. So we're back again with Damien Leone, the creative genius behind Art the Clown. I was so happy to see Art the Clown back. I missed him.
It was great to see him back.
It was great to see him back.
This film is basically, if you liked Art the Clown from the first one, this is basically more of Art the Clown.
Yeah.
In a way. This film is 2.5 hours long.
Yeah.
And it balls to the walls.
It's just carnage from the start, I think. Right, it actually is right up until the very end. And I think I wouldn't say watch this without watching Terrifier 1, because like that you kind of have to know how... Not that you kind of have to know, but like it would be helpful to have some idea of what is gonna is gonna happen.
And this one kind of dives into the character a little bit more backstory of Art the Clown. We'll get into that.
Tiny little bit more, not as much as I wanted. I really was hoping for a big fat origin story, but we didn't get that.
Maybe the third film.
Well, hopefully now if there's going to be a tour.
Like we were saying, like everyone was talking about this film. I think it's after doing like say 7.7 million in the box office for a film like this. Like that's really good. Do you know?
Yeah, actually I didn't.
That's why you're seeing a lot of people talking about it, like so.
Yeah, but you know what? It's annoying me because nobody knew about Terrifier when the first one was out. And now it's like, Art the Clown everywhere. Yeah. Like, people have said to me when we were talking about different horror films, like, just people I work with and stuff, have you seen Terrifier? And I'm like, yes, I fucking have. Yeah. I've seen that, like, many times.
That's true. A lot of people in my job are saying, have you seen that Terrifier too? I was like, well, when I asked you about a year ago about the first Terrifier film, you didn't know what I was talking about. So you're gonna see all these bandwagoners.
But just know that we were here from the start.
Yeah,
so.
it's going to be a cult classic.
Love you, Art. But we have the legend himself, David Howard Thornton, back as Art. I mean, who else could play him? Absolutely nobody else.
Steals the show again.
Oh, it's all about him. And then in this, so there's kind of mentions of characters from the first film, but obviously they're dead. The only surviving character from the first film is Victoria, which I will reference her as the mangled face girl because it's...
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we're introduced to the other kind of two main characters, apart from Art, obviously. So Sienna and Jonathan, they are a brother and sister. I think Sienna is played by Lauren Lavera. I think she did a good job in this. Jonathan, I know he's a child, but I mean, weak character vibes.
I wasn't too mad about the acting on his part.
No, but I'm not going to...
it's not like the acting in the first film was world class either, but...
So we kick off Art, the first scene. It's kind of, do you remember in the first film, the very last scene, and he's in like the morgue?
Yeah.
Everybody thinks he's dead. So it kicks off from there, just for the first scene, and then there's big bloody gory kill of the mortician and typical Art.
Yeah.
We get straight into it.
It's like a big epic opening for Art. Like, it's pretty much to say he's back in a way, you know.
Oh, it's nasty, and his eye is hanging out, and then he kills the mortician, and he's using... Oh, it was actually sick. Mm-hmm. It was sick. Mm-hmm. But what do we expect? So, weirdly enough, it jumps a year later. So I'm thinking, is Art in hiding for the year? Where's Art have to go for that year?
True.
Because the year later, then when we're introduced to Sienna and Jonathan, people know about the... I think it's... What do they call it? The Mars County murders?
Yeah,
so they were talking about the murders that had happened.
The Moyles County murders.
County, sorry. Murders that had happened last year. So, I don't know where he's been for the year.
Yeah.
We don't know.
But there's a scene where, after the first scene, Art goes to clean his clothes.
Oh, that was so random.
And this is where he actually meets his new sidekick, the little pale girl she's called. And she's basically another sort of clown, demon, spirit.
We'll just pause there for a minute because I was very confused about this when this happened. So there's another person in the laundromat or whatever you want to call it, just another normal person, and Art is like, you know, obviously he doesn't talk, but I think he's playing like little, what's that thing called when you play with your hands?
Yeah, he's playing like little kids games and yeah.
But he can't, you know, he can't see her. So I was thinking, what is going on here? But then she's sitting on like a little bench and there's just blood, like clots and everything falling out of, I can only guess, somewhere.
Private
parts.
Yeah.
But I don't get it, and she is exactly like him, like the teeth and everything.
Dressed in the same kind of black and white clown mime clothes.
So at this moment in time, we've no idea who this girl is. She's obviously a mime type thing as well, but it looks like he adopts her because he goes into like hiding and the two of them are there. So when it flashes then to the year after, we're kind of introduced to Sienna, and I'm not gonna, this is just a point I feel like there was a lot more filler scenes in this one than there was
in the first one,
and I think that's why it was that much longer, but not necessarily we didn't need all them filler scenes, like, you know,
definitely not.
Like there's a lot of scenes of the kind of main girl creating a costume for Halloween. We just didn't need, I just wanted to see Art for hours and hours. But anyways,
so it skips 1 year later and our main character Sienna is finishing her Halloween costume. It's basically like an angel warrior character that our dead father actually made. So he was obviously into all this sort of like
comically
fancy fancy stuff and all that. So that's a core character. And the father must have had like this sketchbook because the brother Jonathan wanted to dress as Art the Clown from seeing him in the book.
Yeah, and then they get into this whole conversation, isn't it? And it's made obvious that it is a year later because they're all talking about that serial killer from last year, blah blah blah, you know, that whole thing. So he's kind of known, and then it's, you know, they never found the body of Art or anything like that. So the little brother, I think, is a little bit obsessed. Not obsessed, but like, you know. So then Sienna, is it Sienna or Sienna? Anyways,
Sienna, I think. Yeah,
Sienna, I think. So I feel like, obviously we'll get into it more, but for some reason I thought at this stage she has this nightmare of Art in this mad, like, it's a horrible, I didn't like that saying because it was so weird.
Are you talking about the clown cafe?
It's like clown cafe and there's a load of people singing and it's all weird and Art comes in on a little bike.
It didn't really make a lot of sense.
It didn't make sense at all. I thought that was really happening.
Yeah.
And then she was having a dream about this and it was very specific and I was thinking, is he somehow telepathically, I don't know, like, it was so strange.
Now again, you might have seen it like on, say, Facebook or the internet, wherever folks, there's been people like vomiting and like fainting seeing this film. This is definitely one of the scenes where this stuff might have happened. Like there's a scene at the end of that dream, the clown cafe, where Art pulls out a gun and shoots every single person that's there. Remember that scene?
Yeah.
Graphic, like just the way it's done, I thought was very good. But
but it's so random. Obviously this was setting us up for they're going to be the main two characters, they're going to have some confrontation with Art, but I was just like, what the hell, like they were singing this weird song, I don't know, and there's a weird, it
was like a weird jingle, wasn't it? Yeah. So she wakes up from that dream, and anyway, and like her whole dresser is out there like catching fire, so
it's a blaze.
Yeah, so I'm kind of thinking, like, is Art kind of like Freddy Krueger in a way?
That's what I felt like, because in the ending of the dream she was having, he was like, he had a flame, was it a flame?
Yeah,
and he was just fucking lighting the place up, and then she wakes up with a fire, and I'm like,
and everything around the dresser, the mirror and all is on fire, except for there's like a weird sword that her father must have gave her.
Yeah, we keep seeing this sword.
Like, that's when I'm kind of thinking, does the sword have a connection with Art the Clown?
Well, and kind of, because we just kept saying it, they kept talking about it, but it's just so, like, that whole part there, I'll be honest with you, I think that's about 10-15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes into the film, when that kind of dream scene happened, and then she woke up, and I was like, oh my god, I don't know if I'm gonna love this. But, you know, I did in the end, but I was like, what? It didn't set a good tone at the very start, that's all I'm gonna say.
Well, as the story goes on, Jonathan ends up seeing Art and this pale girl in his school playing with, would it be a dead possum? A possum?
A possum. But nobody else can see him, so very Freddy Krueger vibes here. Only he can see the two of them, and which is strange because at the start I thought Art was the only one that could see the little girl.
True. Very true. Yeah.
Plot hole? Who knows?
Could be. So obviously he gets the blame for the dead possum. Like I think he threw at Jonathan, and then obviously the teacher comes out and sees Jonathan with a dead possum, so he gets the blame for it.
Another irrelevant scene, I feel. But anyways, we're kind of, more and more pushed into the idea of the two characters are very tied in with art, or they're going to be, So it flashes then to Sienna, and her friends are talking about. So it's, I don't know, this is mad because it's so strange, right? So they're talking about the interview with the mangled face girl from art, right?
That's the girl
Victoria, sorry, yeah. And that's only happened at this time, so they're talking about the interviewer is in hospital. But then I'm thinking, did we not see that at the end of Terrifier 1?
True. And
so
then,
was that a year later? It must have been actually, because you remember the end. I'm not confused myself. The end of Terrifier 1, it's a year later and we see Victoria get discharged from the hospital. Anyways, that's only after clicking with me there. How embarrassing. But anyways. And Sienna just goes into this mad panic attack when she hears them talking about her.
Which again, what's the whole connection there?
Obvious connection, but what is the connection like? So now I'm just going to say this is my favourite scene.
When the two of them go to the costumes store.
So
our friend Sienna and our friend Ali goes to the costume store to get, I think they were getting wings, I think.
They were trying to replace the burnt bits, yeah.
And who did they come across? The man himself.
Well, he's so funny and he's so cute. He's like,
he's trying on glasses.
He's trying on
different stuff, and it actually is a funny enough scene.
It's so funny. But obviously, he ends up scaring the shit over she legs it, and he kills the fella who's working in the shop. Obviously, he's not going to leave anybody alive, which is fair enough. Whatever. So, and then it cuts straight into the friend that we just mentioned there, Ali. So she is at home then, and trick-or-treating starts, and she's giving kids sweets and blah blah, and then Art knocks for a trick-or-treat and it's just hilarious, like he's trying to get sweets off her. So again with the whole supernatural thing, he just randomly, then after she closes the door on him, he's just in her house,
just spawns right into her house.
Like just quick spawns into the house, and that is a nasty scene, I will say. So warning about this scene of Art killing the friend Ali. Oh my god, it was very gruesome. Wow.
Yeah, this was
that was
one
the
of the
sickest
worst
one
ones
I've seen, I think, from him. He literally cuts off her scalp. He slices her up.
He peels the skin off her back.
Oh.
And like pulls her right off like a sheet of paper.
Oh, stop.
And then, was it the bleach force or the salt force?
He was rubbing salt and bleach literally into the wounds. And then he was kind of like cutting bits off and eating her. It was so...
Could you imagine the pain of that?
I know, and I think he cuts off like half her face or something as well.
Yeah,
I don't know. She's mangled, absolutely mangled, and then her mum comes in and finds her getting mangled, and obviously she gets mangled then as well. Yeah. But then just to end off this nasty ass scene, he uses the mum's head as a little candy ball and starts answering the door to kids. It's so nasty, but was so good, but so nasty. Do you know what I mean? But then we go back, bouncing back in straight back to Jonathan whinging to his ma, who was obviously unhinged. Like, she's screaming.
Yeah, well, she did lose her husband.
Well, I understand that, but Jesus Christ, she irritated me so much. Like,
and do we know how, like, the father died?
They talked, it is mentioned, and I cannot remember I think it's mentioned when Sienna is out with one of her friends, so that he had a brain tumour. So the dad had a brain tumour. Now, that wasn't made clear at all. No. I was kind of just thrown in there. The dad had a brain tumour, and sadly enough, towards the end of somebody's life, when they have a brain tumour, their personalities can change, and depending on which area the brain is in. But that is true, So they keep going back to this sword, and they keep going back to this scrapbook that the dad had. And the dad had a brain tumour, so he wasn't in his right state of mind. But they're obsessed with this scrapbook that he doodled things in.
Mainly Jonathan.
Well, mainly Jonathan, yeah.
Because there's the scene where he starts showing his mother the sketchbook, and has Art the clown, and apparently has all of his victims there as well, which we're kind of made to believe the pale white girl, the little girl that's going around with him, was his first victim. That
wasn't made very clear either, though. But they are kind of like, the three of them are kind of obsessed, because when they cop that Jonathan has the scrapbook, they're like, we've been looking for that, Yeah. But anyway, so going on about this book, and it's made obvious that obviously at the end of his life he wasn't well, which is pretty obvious, but he was drawing like the victims, and obviously he was drawing scenes from the first film, which is a bit strange because obviously that wouldn't have been public knowledge. But we get to see the lovely scene.
Who was the father, I wonder?
Who was the father? We never know. Obviously, maybe he was irrelevant and it was just a little backstory of why the kids were the way they were. But we get to see a lovely little drawing of our favourite.
Self-portrait.
No, well, yeah, a self-portrait. But if we get to see a drawing of the kill scene from the first one where the girl is hanging upside down again. We won't even go into that again. But he drew that, so he obviously really was not well.
So the mother has enough of seeing this weird sketchbook that the son is Jonathan that he's obsessed with, so she ends up ripping up the book, ripping out all the pages and the whole lot, and Jonathan runs away from home. It's
a big dramatic scene, you know, and these are real filler scenes that I just think were like didn't need I would have much rather seen art, or even something about the little pale girl. Like we see one little clip second of it, and then we were putting it in our heads like, oh, maybe she was a victim or blah blah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So while all this is happening,
Sienna is out on the lash.
She's out on the lash getting pissed where our friends are. I think our friend Brooke and her boyfriend was out that night.
Oh, was that her name, Brooke?
Yeah. And
that's the blonde one. That's the friend that's not dead at this stage.
Yeah.
She reminds me of the dumb blonde. I kept calling her the dumb blonde.
Yeah, she was Dawn. Remember Dawn?
Oh, so annoying.
Yeah. But what does Brooke do? She spikes our drink without telling her with ecstasy. They call it Molly. But
alright, like
so obviously that goes on for a bit, and then Sienna ends up seeing the pale white girl and goes into another kind of panic mode.
Oh, she's just having panic attack to beat the bands, and you know, there's a scene and she's taking Xanax. I think look, their dad died of a terrible illness, so it wouldn't be uncommon for someone to be on like mental health medication. But I don't think she should have been spiked with Molly taking Xanax, just from my experience. But anyways, that happened.
So after all that,
you're skipping a part because do you remember the mom is in the house and the car gets trashed and she's convinced that it's Jonathan, even though Jonathan is like legging it.
That's right.
Legging it down the road for no reason. So she's out here on a mad one again, and Art is just chilling in the car, isn't he, with a big shotty, and blows the absolute nut off her.
Takes the absolute hell off her with the gun.
Like literally, she wipes. I think it was like shaving foam all over the car, and she wipes a little bit of the window, and he's just chilling there with his gorgeous smile. You know?
And he wrote "bitch" on the windscreen.
He loves writing in blood. He loves writing in his own shit. He's an artiste, like.
Yeah, but that's what Jonathan called the mother before he runs away. Calls her a little bitch. So,
but we didn't see him anywhere. So, like that, is he just hiding, or is he
supernatural?
Who knows? We never know at this stage.
So after the Sienna and our friends are out on the night out, the night gets cut short now after being spiked for obvious reasons. So she tells her friends to bring her home.
Yeah.
But when she gets a phone call from Jonathan.
But it's not Jonathan.
It's not Jonathan.
Oh my god, that was so weird.
Yeah.
It was a little pale girl ringing Sienna with his exact voice, and that saying, because it's so weird because we never see Art or the little girl talk, we just assume they're never going to talk, but she was like talking into the phone in his voice. That actually spooked me. When I seen that I was like,
again, it adds to it, are the spirit supernatural being.
How are you going to recreate his voice, you know, if she's dead or whatever like that. But,
so the fake Jonathan basically says to the sister, meet me at the abandoned carnival, kind of, you know, the clown thing, like a kind of like a circusy kind of, like a park.
And I think because it's Halloween night again in this movie, the same as Terrifier 1, and I think the carnival has changed into like a little horror house. I was going to say horror house. A horror house? It was not a horror house, a horror.
There's even a part in the place where it says Terrifier, and that's Art's little domain.
I know, there's so many little tidbits of stuff getting thrown at me, and I don't know which is.
It raises more questions, I think, stuff like this, though. Because in the first film, it was real basic. You got the two characters,
and then just a big fast slasher, which was.
That's all I needed, really. But I suppose this is what happens when you
this is what happens when you have sequels and everybody wants more and more. But I just think that it wasn't the more that I wanted. I wanted backstories, I wanted information. I didn't want all this shit, all these cutscenes. There's about a 10-minute cutscene of this stupid blonde girl with her fella sniffing coke in the car, talking absolute crap. We didn't need that. We needed more Art and the girl. Did not need that. But anyways, they're slashed. I don't know how they get killed. I don't even remember.
Well, the Brooke, remember, he throws acid over her face.
Oh yeah, he's mad for a bit of like bleach and acid and
Yeah,
stuff, isn't he?
yeah, he's an
a
evil
bit
fucker.
chemical.
Yeah.
He's a bit chemical in this one.
So the two of them pages, like
They're
they're
gone.
gone. Like, you know yourself.
Now, look, I love a big kill scene and stuff like that, but it goes into about a 20-minute like little montage of Jonathan, Art, and Sienna all like they must have technically killed each other about 4 or 5 times each.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I was watching this, like, how nobody obviously would survive this. Like, at least we got to see, this sounds so weird, but at least we got to see like dead bodies in the first one. Like, do you know what I mean?
So this
but
is
they're getting lashed out and they're not dying.
So this where it leads to the big fight at the end of the carnival.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It goes on for about 20 minutes.
Yeah, and Art's basically, remember he kicks her down like a ditch, like, remember it's glowing up red and all that, and Sienna is pretty much dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
And moments later, the sword started flashing and all this stuff. So this is where I'm talking about, like, there must be some sort of connection between Art and this sword that never gets answered in this film. So basically the sword resurrects Sienna. Which
Again,
is wacky. It's in the wacky
so
as fuck, like.
strange. It was like a mirror lying down when she falls through it, and then I was like, is that the little portal that Art just came through? I don't know.
But then again, if you remember, the angel warrior that her dad, the character that she created and all that, and Sienna actually said to one of her friends that her dad told her before that she'll end up becoming the character at one stage. So I don't know if this is on.
Okay, so who's the dad? How was he having all this knowledge? You know what I mean? And surely he would have told her, by the way, there's a psychopath. And
this is the thing. Like, this film's after, although I enjoyed it, it's after leaving a lot more questions about Art the Clown and the whole lore to Art the Clown than there was in the first film. Which, like, maybe the third film might actually kind of wrap things up on the.
Do we know if there's going to be a third? Like, is it definite?
This film's after doing that good, there definitely will be a third one. Do you know what I mean? Like,
well, I'm campaigning for it back, like an origin story.
Little origin story, like, yeah. See what happens.
A full-on origin story, because that is what he needs. Like, the fourth film did, like, the whole slashing everything down to an absolute T. I couldn't ask for more of that one.
This film kind of...
I sound very critical of this film, but I think I was expecting too much, or maybe something totally different. But I did, don't get me wrong, it's going straight into my top 10s. Like, I love it, anything with art. But, yeah, so... oh my god, like, so the last scene, about 40 minutes, not 40 minutes, I'm being dramatic, 20 minutes later,
felt like 40 minutes.
Felt like 40 minutes of them just throwing shit at each other and whatever, and you know what, she kills Art by chopping his head off with the sword.
With the magical sword.
With this magical sword that, you know, whatever.
But that's when Art was actually chewing the foot of Jonathan. Remember he started eating Jonathan's foot?
He's a bit, he likes eating people as well, but not fully eating them, like just chewing bits of their skin off.
Nice. So that's how literally they put Art the Clown away in this film. They chop off his head with the magical sword. And
magical sword.
We're gonna call it the magical sword. And the little pale girl walks off with Art the Clown's head.
Oh yeah, so she doesn't fight at all. She just is hiding in the wall somewhere, and then she strolls out and picks up his head like a little baby,
just floats off,
like a little doll, and just floats off. So, but then this is funny because I thought, like, the film just cuts there to the credits, so I thought it was finished.
Yeah, we were actually almost about to knock it off.
I was about to knock it off, and then it cuts into another scene, and I think it's obviously kind of the same night because it cuts into this mental hospital that Victoria, aka Mangled Face Girl, from the first one,
yeah,
is in. So it's like a psychiatric hospital, and she's been readmitted there ever since she literally was out for one day, did an interview, mangled the interviewer, and went back into a mental hospital. So that was a day. So she's in there anyways, and you know, we see the nurses chatting, and they're saying, oh, she's weird, she's singing the song. She keeps singing the song all day. But the song is from that dream that Sienna had.
Yeah, the little jingle. Yeah.
What's it like? What is the connection?
I can just say that the makeup, the effects.
Oh,
on it,
holy mother of God!
It's a lot more gruesome than it was in the first film. So, like, the effects in this film is obviously after stepping up from the first one. I'll give it that. Like, but this last scene is very weird.
Well, yeah, it's just her face. Oh my God, it's really, really good, the effects. But yeah, so she's like in her little padded cell, and it looks like she's giving birth. She's bleeding out of the vagina. Fair enough. But she's writing on the wall like, all bitch, slut, whatever. But then in the middle of all this like random shit she's writing on the wall, she writes Art and Victoria in a love heart.
So weird.
But did he not mangle her? Yeah. Then she gives birth to his fucking head. His decapitated head. And it's he's smiling now.
Yeah.
And then it ends properly.
Yeah.
What the fuck? It nearly annoyed me. I was like, why would you do that? Why would you show me something? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
Why would you even show me that?
It's always to keep him coming back in the next film, but like I kind of understood the connection with the Force film because you see the girl at the start.
Oh no,
and
but that's the only thing I fucking understood. Yeah.
But with this one, like I thought it was real random. Like what? Like did the two of them have sex?
No,
like,
because it's his head coming out there. Like he's after being.
It just.
Oh my god!
As I
that's
said,
what I'm saying.
Like a lot of questions now.
What direction?
I think you have to call it. I think the third one is going to be an origin story because you can't. He definitely won't keep going in this direction. He'll do an origin story, but I'm hoping so because Art the Clown deserves an origin story after these two films.
On one hand,
films,
I'm like, I want to see so much of Art. The other hand, I'm like, I don't want to see anything else unless it's an origin story.
Yeah,
I'm very conflicted.
Yeah.
I did really enjoy it.
Maybe email the director.
Probably.
See what he said. But,
hey there. Can I request the next
origin
one?
story.
Imagine, yeah.
No, but all in all, though, it was an enjoyable film. A lot of filler, as you said. There was a lot of scenes where you're kind of thinking, like the film. As we said, the film is 2.5 hours long. There was a lot of scenes where he could have cut that down a little bit. Didn't need to be 2.5 hours long.
Well, it could have been 2.5 hours long with more backstory, with more art, without this. I'm gonna sound like a cranky old bitch here, but I feel like they were appealing to the masses as such, you know, like because I don't know if they knew it was going to be popular or whatever like that, but and then you see like there's 5 million videos on YouTube about a Terrifier 2, and there was never 5 million about Terrifier 1, so it's like stop changing it to the demographic if you will.
So like they're trying to play it plays the masses, as you're at the saying, like, do you know what I mean? Like,
that's just my opinion, and I probably sound like a cranky
no,
woman,
not bad little theory.
No, that was just how I felt, so I'm like, I just want the original. But see, for me, I'm a freak. If something, like, if I love a film and it's serious, like a sequel comes out, 99% of the time I absolutely hate it.
True.
I'm a very original pal, you know what I mean?
So if you were to stack this now with the first film,
oh Jesus, it doesn't touch the first film.
I thought that.
But I'm not dissing it.
No,
I'll make that clear.
But the one thing I will say, there's been more money pumped into this sequel. The acting, I'm sorry to say, the Jonathan character, the acting in this film was a step ahead of the first one.
Definitely, but I would sit down and take the shit acting in the first one because I loved it so much.
True. The first one had a more gritty feel to it. All you literally had was an abandoned building, Art the Clown, 2 characters. So it was great. With this one, I think it was too big than what it should have been, what needed. Do you know what I mean? Like, but it was
we needed
very
an origin
enjoyable
story.
film.
So Damien Leone,
if you're listening to this,
which he probably definitely is not, but hit me up and I'll tell you all the reasons why I think you need an origin story. If you want me to write it, no bother, I'll do that. Do not put out another one like this and it's like magic swords and
you can do the magic swords, but like have it all. Like I thought we would have seen at the end of this film what the magic sword was all about.
Sword.
We didn't.
We're making it not sound scary, but yeah, you know what I mean. It's like a little blade, switchblade, magic switchblade.
From watching this film, we kind of know now Art the Clown is not a bloke in a suit. He's some sort of supernatural demon or ghost or something like that. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's teasing me.
Yeah, it teases you. It makes you think like there's more to the story of Art that we don't know about. This is why I think you were right. There will be an origin story of some stage. Because
but like the way it is, there is no origin story. Like if you look at It the Clown, there is like the book. You can't go off the book.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Or if you look at different ones, like like the Conjuring universe, you couldn't now pop out an Annabelle film. That's a totally different story to what the Annabelle is.
True.
So now I could be wrong here, but as far as I know, there is no Art. We've seen him in All Hallows Eve and Terrifier, but he's not really around. So they have the opportunity to create an origin story here. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely. It's on the plate. I'd say yeah.
Well, I'm hoping it is, and I'm just going to keep asking for it if not.
Yeah.
That's
what I say. You were asking me, is there a Terrifier 3 announced? I don't know if it's officially announced, but I think that you have plans to make a tour. Especially like this one's had to do so good in the box office. It's actually unheard of a budget indie film to do like 7.7 million in the box office. Like especially like a horror film. Like,
I'm not really good with numbers, but I can.
They're big numbers for a film like this.
I can only guess that obviously you know, releasing it around Halloween definitely was a little marketing
Oh yeah,
thing, which was
true,
obvious.
True. And like, think of it, that could have done even better if it got released over in Ireland as well.
I know, I'm a little bit sad about that, but the Apple TV pulled through.
True.
So, if without that... Oh no, sorry, it was on YouTube as well. Never mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would definitely recommend... I would recommend watching it, the Terrifier 1 first. Then watch this. My heart is with Terrifier 1, I'll make that clear, but I'm not dissing this one.
No.
Just... I had too high expectations, but I absolutely loved it. Will I watch it again? Definitely. Would you watch it again?
Oh, 100%. Especially if you looked at the Clown from All Hallows Eve and the first film, it's basically that on juice. You get way more gory or gruesome kills in this one, and more Art the Clown, the whole lot.
Yeah.
I just was kind of fiending for a little bit more of a backstory.
Yeah, you get more of everything, but it's just not what I wanted.
Yeah.
I'm very picky now.
They were teasing some sort of a backstory, and by the end of the film I thought we would have got some sort of answers, but I say they'll probably leave that with the third film.
Well, let's hope. But anyways, we'll wrap up for here now.
Yep, we'll wrap up, and would you like to rate it, or would we just say it's a good film?
Are we rating it against the first one, or just in general on our scale of 1 to 10?
Rate it up to the other film, because I don't think we gave Terrifier 1 a score.
Right, Terrifier 1 was a 10 out of 10 straight away. I'm pretty sure I made that clear. If I remember. This one is about a 6, I'm going to say. Wow. Am I being harsh?
No, like, it's your opinion. It's not your fucking opinion. I'd give it like a 7.5 to an 8.
Oh, see you with your points.
Yeah, you have to throw the points in.
Okay, 6.4 then, what?
Yeah, well, that's fair.
No, I'm being very harsh. 6.5.
Well, that concludes our review podcast on Terrifier 2.
If you don't agree with me, or you think I'm too cranky and bitchy, let me know.
Let us know in the comments. Shout out to the Deluxe Edition network.
Oh yeah.
And everyone that's on the network. And we'll see you in the next podcast.
Hopefully we'll pick another good film to
Oh yeah,
follow this trend.
We're on a roll now. We're on a roll. So make sure you're subscribed, liked, and comment on the video. Thanks very much.
Just tell me what to review. I don't mind.
Oh, we're on a roll. We're picking good films. But see you in the next one.
Bye.
Good luck.